Welcome to 15 Minutes of Amoofy, real voices, real moments, and the stories that might just shift yours. Today, we sit with someone whose amazing smile, amazing coding skills, humor, and intentionality has shaped already so much of what Amoofy is becoming. Our dear Wei, a key member of our engineering team. Wei, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Luis, for the invitation and for being part of this great team. It's the beginning. Um, you know, like, but you know, I can't wait to being like grow more. With the team, to grow together with the team.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Wei, as you know, we'll have like a few minutes to dive into your story, and let me ask you one question first. And the question is, what is a story, a life story or experience that shaped how you show up in the world today? Help me remember one story that really shaped how you show up.
Um, it's funny because, as you know, I was traveling um, this year with my camper van, and when I was 16, I'm I came here to this country to do an exchange student program. You know, um, I was in Brazil, like I was telling you, I was very into computers. Since early young age, but the experience when I was 16 made me to become like less fearful of like facing um you know f- anything away from my comfort zone because my family was in Brazil. I was the only one. I was by myself here, with three strangers, you know, and which, like, by the way, like, I drove all the way from California to see them in Delaware. That's where I went to high school there, and I actually haven't seen them in 20 years. So it was it was very surprising because they didn't even know I graduated college. So I was like, we had to do a lot of catch up. But that so I thank them for the opportunity of staying with them, because I was like, if it wasn't for them, I would not be in this camper van right now, because one thing leads to the other. So definitely, the change student program when I was 16 was really important in my life.
I love that. Love that story. And um, your country is and home is far away, certainly farther than mine in Mexico.
Yeah.
When you think way about um, your family, your culture, your community back in Brazil, what is what are some things, or what is something that you still carry close from, again, thinking about your origins, your family, your community, your country? What are some things that you still carry with you today?
I think, like, we share a lot of similar cultural values, right? As uh, you know, like like in South America and in Mexico, there, which, because even in this country, I met a lot of nice Central Americans, El Salvador, so it's that we have similar cultural values. Family is a big one. Um, Meaning, like, in Brazil, it's like, we have very strong family ties. It's like I call my aunt and uncle almost every week. So so I think your question was, I think the family uh, the family, I mean, ties, not tie, but like strong family values. Like, I think it was the expression. Yeah, that's where I care from Brazil. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and
You Every time you and I have a conversation, you you lighten the camera with your smile.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. You
what's
have a good smile. You have a good smile. Yeah,
thank you.
that's how I say we share similarities.
I love it.
Yeah.
Um, what's something that brings you joy these days?
Definitely. I love to travel. More specifically, I love to drive. No, I'm not a big fan of flying. That's why I try to avoid flying, but I do love to drive and see new places or it's like so for me. Yeah, driving has always been a thing that brings me joy. Um, it's like yeah, it's my antidepressant, I would say.
Mm,
But yeah, definitely I have that route to find joy. I'm not sure about like a specific thing in the. I mean, of course, I love camping. Because I have a camper van, so I camp. I camp a lot. Uh, so no, so a lot of work I do sometimes from a campground. I have a Starlink, so that's getting to know different people's like different lifestyles. I love that. I know people who live full time in buses, in RVs, and they have uh, much like I don't know, like uh, calmer personality. They're not so tied
mm,
into the big city lifestyle. So I love meeting, getting to know people like that, like those. They um, I say that mostly. Yeah, that's maybe
that's
my yeah.
that's great. I have two follow-up questions.
Okay.
What what happens in Way's mind, or what happens emotionally, um as you're driving? Like, why do you like it so
Oh, that's
much?
no, no, I thought about that too. I was like, why does driving, like even when my dog was suffering, I was having a panic attack, like everything was shaking. I couldn't even like when I started to drive, I couldn't even like press the pedals properly because I was shaking. But then after 5-10 minutes, everything started slowing down, and I drove, and I was way calmer. I was like, why is that? I mean, besides the point, beside the, I mean, of course we have to focus on the road. So I think one thing that driving helps is like you focus on what's out there. You focus on one thing, the road. You cannot like be thinking about million things at once, because you crash. Or like if you're angry, just leave leave that behind. Because otherwise you're gonna do bad. So I think driving helps to focus on one thing, the road. But at the same time, like if you're driving to a place that you've never been to, of course you see different environment, nature. So that's the plus side too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
When you spoke a little bit about meeting people on the road, and I think one thing that we have, um in not only in this country, but I think everywhere, is uh because we continue to build ourselves so insular from others. There's I have seen a lot of people with fear of others, fear of the unknown. um I love that you elevated examples of how comfortable you feel meeting others, meeting other people. And
yeah.
um so with that, um if you have if you were to have an advice um for future generations, for people that are listening, um I would love for you to emphasize a little bit more on the joy of meeting people, and how, because you're an explorer, so it's in you to get to know other places and get to know other cultures. So tell me a little bit more about that, and what you would recommend to others to maybe lose fear, and it's okay to meet others. And then outside of that way, also, what other kind of advice or other thing would you like to leave our listeners with as they think about the future? What other things you have in terms of hope or advice?
Um, that's that's a very deep questions. uh, I volunteered before here in LA. I'm in LA right now. I'm back in LA. I volunteer with the homeless. Feeding like probably like 1,000. It was like days, and people come to me and talk. Some of them, of course. And so yeah. I see a lot of people losing hopes and stuff. Um, I was at a point that too. Because me and my partner, my ex-girlfriend, I also wanted to do this experience after I graduate. I also wanted to do this experience, and she wasn't a big fan of it. Um, so I was kind of like depressed and sad because I wanted to do something she didn't know I wanted to do. So I was living a life that I wasn't happy. So okay, so we ended up splitting, but we're still good friends. We talk like almost every day. We're very good friends. Like she's from Brazil too, but she lives here. Uh, and then once we split, I was very scared because now I'm alone now. Like I don't have family now. I don't have a partner. I had my dogs with me, but that's it. And I even bought a plane ticket to Brazil. It's like okay, that's it. I'm done. And then I started driving my car, my SUV, because I was like, okay, I need to give my dogs a better life. It's like all they do is like stay in an apartment, while I'm working. So I started driving. This was like 6 years ago, a little bit before the COVID started. And then once I start giving, um, I start driving my dogs every day. I'll go somewhere, drive 1 hour, and I stay there, work there, and I'll bring my computer there, work there all day, and come back. So I started doing this every day, every day, every day, and then the dogs were happier. Like they were like running on the beach, and then what ended up being is like I became happier too.
Mhm.
Because so I think it's like it's important, like because the traveling thing is my it's what I like to do. My ex, she wanted to be a dancer, a professional dancer, which she is now. So
Mhm.
yeah, we have very different goals in life, but I think what is important is to um, yeah, it's like I don't know, uh, go after your dreams without waiting on someone. That's very important. It's like don't wait, because I think like if you're happy with you, uh, whoever comes in your way it's a supplement. Like it's like an additional thing. It's like you don't need to wait for someone to be happy. So that was my yeah, my my main thing about uh traveling, because I'm like happy now. I'm happy like every day because
Mm.
yeah, because of this.
And it
uh,
it seems that that level of knowing yourself and following your passion and your dreams allows you then to feel comfortable with exploring and meeting others as well, even if they
yeah.
look very different to you. So way that's beautiful. So I have one last question. um why should someone listening now join the Amoofy movement?
um I think it's the movement I think it's like I really like the idea about starting, like even about what you record. That's that can be helpful, in terms of like help the current generation and future generations too. um who knows what's going to be the world in like 50 years, and everything's going to be AI driven. So I mean, it's going to be crazy. Well, people probably going to be even more depressed, because it's gonna be all everybody inside the home. So even like sharing this my experience with you here, and hopefully it will be in the Amplify database. You help you help uh you know you help people. It's like this is how I became happy. It's like, and then like I'm not a person that likes watching videos a lot, so I love the idea of having like in a database where we can be we can search. I love the idea of having searchable knowledge in of
Thank you.
experiences. And yeah,
Thank you, Wei. Well,
thank you, Luis.
it's I learn a lot about you, and this is why I'm inspired by you every time. And for the audience, thanks for listening to this moment of Wei, this moment of humanity. If you felt something, share it. If you heard the truth, follow it. And if you see someone, take a moment and ask for their story. Thank you.
Thank you.